The Cincinnati Scenic Railway. CSR is well known for their operations of the Lebanon Mason and Monroe Railroad in Lebanon, Ohio, and the Ohio Rail Experience running across western Ohio. Back in late August of 2020, CSR started the Save the Chessie campaign. This campaign was started to save ex-Chessie System / Baltimore and Ohio 6955 and EMD GP30 from getting scrapped. Stage 1 of the campaign was to raise $35,000 by October 31st, 2020 in order to purchase 6955 from its owner, National Railway Equipment, and luckily they were able to reach their goal before the deadline and secure the purchase of 6955 from NRE. Now, Stage 2 has begun. The second stage of the campaign is to raise $20,000 to help with the move of 6955. The engine is located at NRE's Silvis, Illinois facility in Silvis, Illinois, and CSR wants to move the engine to their facility in Lebanon, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, Ohio, for restoration. Unfortunately, 6955 has a failed turbocharger and can't run under its own power as of now. But CSR is capable of fixing that and will be able to restore the locomotive back into operational condition. As of now, CSR has a Charity.GoFundMe set up to raise the $20,000 for the move, and it's currently at $3,200 as of the making of this video. So, if you wish to help 6955 on its road to restoration, please go to the Charity.GoFundMe and donate there. You can donate as little as $10 or as much as $500 or more to the campaign, whatever you feel is necessary. Once the goal is reached, 6955 will be moved to Lebanon, Ohio, and restored back to its Chessie System glory. So, if you wish to help, the link to the Charity.GoFundMe will be down in the description box down below, so you can go check that out. CSR also has a Save the Chessie website and Facebook page set up as well. There, you can be notified about any updates or on what's going on with the campaign there as well. Links to the website and the Facebook page will be also linked down below as well, so you guys can go check that out. Hopefully, once the campaign is finished, we'll be able to see the Chessie Cat return to the main line once again. It's the tail end of the 4th of July weekend on July 5th, 2020. On this day, my brother and I had come up to the Ohio Railway Museum to help work the first day of the 2020 operating season. Normally, the museum opens to the public sometime in May, but thanks to the COVID-19 epidemic that has swept across the nation, many tourist railroads and museums, including ORM, were forced to delay their 2020 operating season, some staying shut down until 2021. Despite the museum not being able to open to the public until now, work sessions have been taking place up here to prepare the museum for opening day. Hand sanitizing stations were placed around the grounds, and social distancing stickers were placed inside the depot to remind people to stay a respectable distance from each other. Besides hand sanitizing stations and stickers, work has been done on the equipment outside as well. For Marvel Cliff Quarry No. 1, the little engine has acquired a new number plate. The original number plate was taken off by museum staff for safety reasons. Another change to the small 040 was the addition of a bell on top of the water tank. The bell was acquired by the museum back in December of 2019 and with the help of a rope, visitors can now ring the bell on number 1. Normally, when the museum operates 7178, aka Roger, it usually just operates Roger and former Canadian National 5060, the museum's passenger car. But, for today's operations, it's historic due to the fact that there's not one, but 3 cars in the consist today. This hasn't happened in a very long time. Besides 5060, former CSX 16607 Love Shack and Pennsylvania Railroad 6510, the railway post office, were on board the train today. About 100 years ago, in July of 1920, 6510 was built for the Pennsylvania Railroad to help with the transportation of the U.S. mail across the country. 6510, along with many other RPOs as they were called, were built and leased to the U.S. Post Office to transport and sort out mail across the country, usually on passenger trains or dedicated mail trains. But, as time progressed, much better ways of transporting mail came about, eventually spelling the end of the RPO. Although most RPOs were scrapped, a good chunk of them still survive at railway museums and tourist railroads across the country. For 6510, it stayed with the Pennsylvania Railroad and continued to work for its successor, Penn Central, while still wearing its Pennsy paint. Then, in 1972, Penn Central donated 6510 to the Ohio Railway Museum, where it has stayed to this day. For its 100th birthday, ORM decided to dedicate July as RPO month and operate 6510 as part of the consist. The last time 6510 operated for an RPO month was back in 2015, and if things go well for this RPO month, it might become more of an annual event. Besides 6510, this would also mark the first operational run for former CSX 16607 at the museum. CSX 16607, also known as the Love Shack, is a former Seaboard System transfer caboose built in 1981. 16607 worked for the Seaboard System and its successor, CSX Transportations. Then, in 2019, the Ohio Railway Museum was successful in purchasing 16607 from CSX. Going back to October 25th, 2019, brings us to the day that 16607 finally arrived at the museum. Although the Railway Museum does have a rail connection with Norfolk Southern, the caboose had to be trucked in and assembled at the Potter Street Railroad crossing. Once the caboose was assembled, it was then pushed by Roger into the yard.
6607, double ball, the yard, blocking clear.
16607 entering the main yard in reverse for the first time with 16607.
I'd not be able to go back as far as I wanted to in looking at the pole, but let me know when I'm about 20 feet away if I get too close.
16607, Brakeman copies. Ladies and gentlemen of the Ohio Railway Museum, the Love Shack is home.
getting back to the present, I was assigned to watch over Erie Railway 5012, a gas-electric doodlebug. A doodlebug, in railroad terms, is a self-propelled passenger car designed to pull short passenger trains on branch lines and commuter lines. 5012 used to work on commuter trains out of New York City and into the New Jersey areas. While I was here, I was able to catch a southbound Norfolk Southern intermodal train as it passed the museum. Throughout the day, when I wasn't being swamped by visitors, I was able to get some shots of the train pulling in and out of the yard. I can definitely say that the first day of operations was a very successful day for the museum.
And we got a green light this time.
Also, throughout the day, as the train reversed back to the railroad yard, 16607 was fitted with a new steam whistle, which was acquired by the museum just recently. For the last run of the day, some of the volunteers, including me, were able to ride on the porch of 16607. Also, please note, as of right now, only volunteers are allowed to ride on the porch of 16607 when it's in operation. Visitors are not allowed to be out on the porch when 16607 is rolling down the tracks. So, if you do visit ORM, please do not come here expecting a ride out on the porch of 16607. Visitors are allowed to ride on board 16607, just not out on the porch. So, with all that out of the way, let's take a unique ride on the transfer caboose down ORM's main line.
The worst part is too, it's like, I'm worried for really.
Wait, guys!
All this stuff, like, Michael made those introductions. You know, he actually got started in the whole model railroad business by making Williams. So, you know, he did it from his heart, not to make money.
No sooner had we left the yard, our train came to a stop. The crew on board heard that there was a southbound Norfolk Southern grain train coming towards us, so they decided to stop the train here to watch it roll by. Also, as a quick side note, the fourth grain car on board this Norfolk Southern grain train was an old Norfolk and Western grain car.
$41.06, $40.36.
It's great to see older cars in post-merger paint schemes still out on the road. But a time will come when seeing cars like that one will only be a memory. But until that time comes, let's enjoy what we have.
You have a good run. Finding it durable. Well, too much don't really call it expressive. I mean, they were built.
Once the grain train got past us, our train soon got back underway.
I mean, I'm trying to think what Reading 6-chime 90 has if it's off a T1 locomotive. I'm just kind of curious to know. I've been up in 90s cab, I kid you not. No, I didn't blow the whistle, but I had my hand position on the whistle.
90 has a Reading motor.
No, I'm saying that the 6-chime, Reading 6-chime. The T1s have a 6-chime. Just kind of curious. 90 actually did test one.
I don't want to say maybe 2101 during the American Freedom Train. I think. You can't really know. I think 2101 had a 6-chime on the American Freedom Train.
I know. Or an RS5T on the C&M.
Yeah.
You know what happens? One of my friends who likes RS5T, he says my eyes bulge. I was like, I want my eyeballs to bulge.
You want to know something funny about 615 and 2101? They actually have the same whistle. But they sound different. Yeah, 615 is high five. Or was it the
those two yellow gloves?
Yeah.
Those are my grandpa's gloves. Yeah.
You know, I had a dream once that we relived back. You were in the DeLorean.
I guess we're not done.
Why are we burning always? I
Soon, our train reached the end of the line at Colonial Hills, and we got to watch as the spring coupling on 16607 compressed into the caboose. Don't worry, this is normal for cabooses. The spring coupling is designed to bring the caboose to a smooth stop when the train it's on comes to a more abrupt stop. After the crew did their checks and balances, it was then time for the train to be brought back to the museum.
Oh, that's so cool. I've never seen it that clearly before. That's from famous Madagascar movie. Madagascar? Yes. What's that called?
As soon as our train reached the Potter Street crossing, we then came to a stop to pick up the cones and the crossing buck that are at the crossing. In the past, the crossing used to be protected by a gate, but just recently, Silcox, the owners of the gate, decided to take the gate out. So, until a new gate can be put in at the crossing, ORM must always stop here to put down cones and a crossing buck to protect the crossing whenever the trains are in operation on the line. Once the cones and the crossing buck were picked back up on the train then continued back to the yard.
Hold a crane, right? You know what will likely be required to get the engine out of the data bug if it's re-engined and running again? Because the whole rear end of that is going to be severely constructed, and I mean, it's going to need to be anyway to properly restore it. God. You know the Grand Start? Since it runs so slow, it almost sounds similar, like how they're able to fire at the same rate. That works both sides.
What that voice did kind of sound like one.
Because it runs so slow, it's like it's so
Once the train was back in the yard, this brought an end to the first day of the Ohio Railway Museum's 2020 operating season. Hopefully the rest of the 2020 season for the Ohio Railway Museum will be a good one. But before I end the video here, let me just talk about Columbus Street Railway 703. 703 is a streetcar built in 1925 by the Coleman Car Company to operate here in the city of Columbus, Ohio. It is one of the few Columbus streetcars left in existence, but it is the only one you can go out and see for yourself. As I have said in past videos, the Ohio Railway Museum is currently raising money on GoFundMe to renovate 703 and put it back into operation. As of the making of this video, the GoFundMe has raised $20,320, and the goal is to raise $25,000, so we're less than $5,000 away from meeting our goal. Although things for the campaign have slowed down due to the COVID-19 pandemic, ORM is still trying to raise the money for the renovation.
So, if you guys wish to help with the 703 campaign, link to the GoFundMe page will be in the description box down below, so you can go check that out. Also, if you guys can't help donate, that's alright. I completely understand why many of you might not be able to donate. Especially with everything that's been going on right now, I completely understand.
And with all that out of the way, we are now at the end of the video. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are having a good day. See you later!